Hey, what's good? I want to give you something I was talking to one of my students about the other day, and this is something that I used particularly in college when I was in this sort of, I was practicing things, didn't know how to get better or get faster. One of the pieces that I played for my senior recital was the Echo Sonata on upright bass. You can look that up. It's a pretty famously fast piece. Even at a slower tempo, it can be kind of fast. But this is something I can't remember if it was something I came up on my own with or if it was something that was shown to me. But it revolves around practicing something, a particular piece of something in a very specific way. Let me stop rambling. I've been talking a little bit today, so let me just show you. I'm borrowing a lick that I got from Travis Dykes. It's a pentatonic lick. I'm going to use that as the example because I think it's a great lick. Travis Dykes. He's got a video called Two Groovy Pentatonic Licks. But anyway, so there's the lick. And I didn't play it anywhere near speed or anything like that. Okay, when he's playing it in the groove he played. See? Okay, so this is prime example. I just got this. I'm just learning this lick. I haven't played all day, so I'm fumbling and stumbling on it, and that's good for you to see what's going on there because it perfectly illustrates my point. And while I'm about to talk about that, Jeff Berlin is really controversial for his thinking about metronomes and things like that. But I think I get what he's saying. Not that, well, my interpretation of what his stance is that, while I'm just learning this lick, I'm not going to put a metronome on this right away. That's not going to help me learn the lick, right? It's also not going to help me to learn the lick if I just hammer through, and never investigate the things that are going wrong. Okay? That's my idea about metronomes. And so I'm going to show you how I'm going to take this lick that obviously I couldn't execute. And I've been playing bass a long time, but stuff comes up that I can't just execute it, right? So, and I'm going to try to keep this video short by not going into too much of the theory behind this thing and just kind of show it to you. So it's A major pentatonic. So the first thing I'm investigating right now is that I'm not in tune. Okay, so the first thing I want to investigate is where I need to make these shifts. Okay, so right now I'm not thinking about putting a metronome on. You know what I mean? Okay, so I've already done the work. I know those are the right notes. So there's this hand, there's that component as well. Okay, so I have the notes. Now, what I'm going to challenge myself with is, can I play this 10 times in a row correctly? So here's the trick. If I tell myself I'm going to play this 10 times in a row, and for the sake of time, I'm going to say 5 times in a row. If I could play this 5 times in a row correctly, right, then I'll feel like I can move on. Then I can maybe add the metronome in. I can go to whatever the next level is. If I'm playing with a metronome and I have it and I can do it 5 or whatever number I've set up 5 times correctly, then I may bump up the tempo. But here's the point. If I've set that number to be 5 and I mess up on the 4th time, then I got to start over again. Then I have to go, I got to do it to 5, however long it takes for me to get to 5 times or whatever that number is that I set, right? Another thing is I might want to set a timer. So if I set a timer, say I got 10 minutes to practice, this is what I'm going to practice and this is my goal, right? There's a story in the book called Peak where the guy's that piano student is plays his recital piece or whatever, and the teacher, he's playing it poorly, and the teacher's like, well, did you practice? Yeah, I played it, dozens of times. Well, how many times did you play it correctly? I don't know, once or twice. So a lot of times we get caught up in just kind of hammering away at something, not really correcting the problems. You know what I mean? And so we don't want to, the metronome is not where we want it. That's not a first stop. Okay, that's a different level, right? Once we get there. So enough talking. I'm going to play this 5 times. You already saw me struggle with it. So without metronome, I'm going to play it 5 times correctly. If I mess up, I got to start over. That's 1 time. That's 2 times. Now I said correctly, not fast. It's 3 times. That's 4 times. All right, now let me put on the metronome. Okay, so now if I were like really hardcore practicing and not putting on, not trying to do a video right now, I may run that drill a little bit longer. Can I do it 10 times, 14 times? Can I do it correctly? So that means I got to be thinking about it, right? Slowly, diligently thinking about what I'm doing so that I can play the thing correctly. Now I'm gonna put on a metronome. So it is a 16th note run. So even at 70 BPM, 16th notes is probably too fast right now. Or not. That's 1 time. It's 2 times. That's 3 times. That's 4 times. There's 5 times. Okay, so that's at 70 BPMs. Now, again, I'm shortening it for the sake of this video, but let's say, now I just bumped it up to 80. You may not want to bump things up that drastically or whatever, but I just bumped it up to 80. So let's just see. That was a significant jump. You see, I stumbled a little bit. That's 2 times. Now the metronome is giving me awareness. Giving me awareness of where I am in time. I think that was 3 times. 4 times. So now I've taken, you've just watched me take something that I executed poorly in the beginning, right? Got a little bit better with some diligent practice type stuff, right? And now have gotten a little more facility. So maybe I want to put a groove to it. That was a horrible groove example. Horrible groove example because it doesn't fit. But anyway, I also want you to look at Travis's video because he's got a great groove. And I didn't even know who that guy was, but he has got great content anyway. very similar kind of run and gun kind of content. So I appreciate that. But anyway, there I stumble. So okay, so why is that happening? So now I got to investigate why is that happening, and that may mean slow it down or take the metronome out. So that part right there, I may need to investigate. I mean, why am I getting stuck on? May even isolate that. Add a note every time. I'm getting comfortable. Add a new note. But I need to shift there. So anyway, you get my point. Now this is a lick that I saw somebody else do. Now there's other things that I could do to start making those ideas my own. There's rhythmic displacement. There's taking bits of chunks. I like that sound. So now I'm starting to pick different bits of vocabulary out of that, and not just using my, not just taking the lick. So that is, I'm gonna condense that. That's a really short way of me kind of showing you what a process that I go through when I'm trying to learn something. And I've been playing bass a long time. It doesn't I'm always coming up against something that isn't easy to execute. And so there's a method for you to try if you have a passage. I don't care what the passage is. It doesn't have to be something as intricate as that. That could seem pretty intricate to some folks, right? So whatever it is, slow it down, and then use the metronome to kind of bring you up to another place. But don't feel like you have to start there. It's like hopping on the freeway. It's like learning how to drive for you've been driving a week, and so you jump on the freeway. When I used to ride a motorcycle, when I first started riding a motorcycle, I would get on the freeway. I made a challenge myself. I would get on the freeway, get off at the next exit, and I would take that. I would do that a little while, and then I would increase the exits I would get on. So it's just an incremental thing. I get you. I think you get the point. So anyway, if you have any questions about that, leave me a comment, ask me a question, because the more you do that, the more it kind of sparks conversation, and I'm happy to answer anything. Yeah. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Peace. 2 fingers. Please I can't talk. Maybe I should practice that. Please consider subscribing to TEDTalksBase.com. Only $7.99 a month, and you get all kinds of tasty comment, blah, blah. I'm not even editing this. You get all kinds of content on a weekly basis. Stuff that I think is pretty practical, okay, and real world applicable. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Peace.